man in charge of the country.
The main opposition leader in India, Rahul Gandhi, has been reinstated as an MP following a Supreme Court decision to suspend his conviction in a defamation case. He was disqualified as a Member of Parliament for the opposition Congress Party after a court in the western city of Surat found him guilty of defaming the Prime Minister. Here's Anbarasan Etarajan.
This is a big boost for the main opposition Congress Party. The MPs from the Congress Party, and not only from the Congress, also alliance partners, were cheering as Mr. Gandhi was coming to Parliament building as they have a debate on a no-confidence vote against the government. So what they were arguing was the whole case was politically motivated. This was all to prevent Mr. Gandhi from raising uncomfortable questions against the Hindu nationalist Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
A court in the northern Indian state of Haryana has ordered the authorities to suspend a demolition drive against properties which activists say targets Muslims. The High Court questioned the government on how the buildings could be knocked down without serving any notice to affected parties. The authorities say they were illegal structures. The generals who've seized power in Niger have defied an ultimatum to reinstate the elected president or face possible armed intervention from other West African states. As the deadline set by the ECOWAS regional group passed, the military junta said it had closed Niger's airspace. A spokesman claimed that preparations for war had begun in two unnamed African countries. Chris Awoko is in northern Nigeria.
There is tension here. A lot of people here, they are expecting that any moment from now, a decision might be taken by the leaders of ECOWAS, and that decision nobody knows. But if they're going to take a decision relating to a military intervention, there is a possibility that Sokoto here, which has a military base, could be one of the places that military deployment could happen.
World News from the BBC. Lawyers for the jailed former Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan say they intend to lodge an appeal today at the Supreme Court. They say there were irregularities in Mr. Khan's conviction on Saturday that handed him a 3-year sentence for failing to register funds gained from selling state gifts. Rulings in other recent cases against him have brought Mr. Khan little relief. Fighting has intensified in Ethiopia's Amhara region between local militias and federal troops. Residents of the two biggest cities say there have been heavy clashes. Widespread arrests of Amhara people, numbering in the thousands, have been reported in the Ethiopian capital Addis Ababa over the weekend. The communications minister confirmed arrests were made. The president of the Philippines, Ferdinand Marcos, says the Chinese ambassador has been summoned over allegations that China blocked a Philippine ship in the South China Sea. Manila accuses Beijing of firing water cannon at a Coast Guard vessel carrying supplies for Filipino soldiers stationed on one of the contested Spratly Islands. China urged the Philippines to tow away a grounded warship from the Spratly Islands. The organisers of the World Scout Jamboree in South Korea have ended the event early because of an incoming typhoon. They say the government notified them that it was no longer safe to hold the event that had attracted more than 40,000 young people. Several countries pulled out from the site at the weekend. Jean Mackenzie reports from Seoul.
This jamboree has been plagued by problems from the very start. The hot and humid conditions, along with a lack of shade, led to hundreds needing medical treatment. But the chief executive of the UK Scout Association, Matt Hyde, told me earlier that their decision to pull their teenagers out of the campsite came down to the toilets and the showers, which weren't being cleaned regularly. The site had become a health risk, he said.
Jean Mackenzie. That was the latest world news from the BBC.
Hello, this is The History Hour with Max Pearson, a collection of this week's Witness History guests on the BBC World Service. Coming up, the man who fought Uruguay's repressive regime and became president, the treehouse alongside the Berlin Wall that became a symbol of defiance, and how a dinosaur won a court case in the US. And we're going to begin with a dino story. In 1982, nests of dinosaur eggs were identified for the first time in India. The eggs were from the titanosaurs and were found on a historic fossil site by a paleontologist, and Laura Jones has been hearing his story.
So this is actually the rock in Jabalpur where the first dinosaur eggshells were recorded. Straight away I didn't recognize them for what they were, But then suddenly I was able to see that there were a number of rounded structures in a block of stone. It occurred to me that these have to be dinosaur eggs. The joy of discovery is just for that moment. So you don't forget that easily, and you like to share it.
Born in Calcutta, India in 1941, Ashok Sahni moved around a lot. But one thing was consistent, and that was being surrounded by a family of fossil enthusiasts. His grandfather, uncle and father were all working in paleontology.
Every summer we'd go to the hills. On the way to our destination, he would show me a lot of rocks, and if they had fossils, he would point out. There was a lively discussion. So from very early on, fossils were part of my life.
Ashok went off to the United States to study at the University of Minnesota, being inspired by discoveries in the US and southern France, like this one in 1974.
In the south of France, archaeologists have discovered not actual dinosaurs, but 7 dinosaurs' eggs. They're about 7 inches long and 9 inches round and unbroken, which is rare. Well, whatever's inside them, though, can't be hatched. They've been dead for 70 million years. But scientists...
That was the BBC's Newsround programme. Ashok got his first sight of dinosaur eggs in a US fossil hotspot.
When I was doing my PhD in Montana, that was the first time that I recovered dinosaur eggs. I didn't know what they were, but it was only later on that I realized that I had a variety of eggs, and I published them in my thesis, which is actually a bulletin of the American Museum of Natural History. So they are there.
When he returned to his home country, working at Punjab University in Chandigarh, he was keen to make his own discoveries. Ashok started making regular trips to a historic fossil site in central India at an old British military station, or cantonment.
One of the oldest cantonments made by the East India Company in the city of Jabalpur. It's low-lying hills. There's a railroad that connects Calcutta with Bombay, and it runs through the area where you have the dinosaurs. This was the place where Henry Sleeman in 1828 had found dinosaur bones next to where he lived. So obviously it was a good place to look at.
Ashok visited Jabalpur many times on the hunt for significant bones, but with always something else.
Local infrastructure here saying that they could be targeted. That is something that the Dorset police have come out and criticised, saying this is unacceptable, and they are continuing a police investigation into this. Just to echo that final point that Ali made, look, by the autumn, across the airfields and across the barge here, you're looking at around 3,000 migrants being housed. This is the big optic that the government wants to see. Look, we're taking them out of hotels that cost £6 million a day into this accommodation, away from town centres, perhaps away from the limelight. But 3,000 is a drop in the ocean of the more than 51,000 who are currently in hotels, and that's disregarding the arrivals that we're expecting this summer, especially now as the weather hopefully starts to pick up. That number might increase. So it's only a very small proportion who are being put in this alternative accommodation. So this is not going to be an end solution, of course, for solving the issue here. The government wants to portray that it's going to cost less, but it's still a significant amount of money. But here in Portland, we do expect at some point today those first coaches to arrive. There's reports of some of them coming from hotels in Bournemouth, possibly even Devon. 50 to start with, and those numbers growing in the coming weeks.
Dan, thanks so much. Well, still to come this hour on Sky News Today with Wilfred Frost. Can England keep up their winning streak and make it into the quarterfinals? We'll bring you fans' reaction as the match against Nigeria continues. Barbie breaks records. The smash hit tops $1 billion in box office sales. We'll be discussing that. And we'll be speaking to a specialist in refugee and asylum seeker resettlement, as Sky News understands, as you just heard from Dan and Ali, that the Bibby Stockholm will receive its first asylum seekers at some point this week, possibly as soon as today. Now, it's a tense, goalless match so far in England's World Cup knockout showdown against Nigeria. Sky's Milena Veselinovic is with fans at Stamford Bridge in West London, and Milena, it's early in the day, but still plenty of people turning out, of course, to watch this game. Not long left now.
Yes, the fans got here very early on a Monday morning, about 8 o'clock, but it's fair to say that this very tense game that's still ongoing has woken everyone up. So many nearly theirs for England, so many chances. You can see the crowd behind me gripped by the action. And we're a Chelsea Football Club, which is the home club of the England captain, Millie Bride. People watching here are season ticket holders, but what's so extraordinary is that there are so many women and so many young girls who've decided to come here so early on a Monday morning to watch their idols battle it out on the pitch. And what they've been saying is that it's so amazing to see these players really show what they know in front of a packed stadium in Australia, tens of thousands of people. I've spoken to football players here, girls who say, well, you know, when we first started, we'd have about 5-10 people around the pitch. Now look at the girls at the top of their game now getting the attention that they deserve now. There's still some time to go until the end of the game. Everyone's very, very tense here, you know, on tenterhooks, but they're here to support England's women all the way. And they say regardless of what the result is, just the fact that this World Cup has gotten so much attention and we've got to know the players, we've got to really follow the games, that it's now matching the attention that the men's game is. It's already done a world of good regardless of the result, but of course they're backing the Lionesses all the way for the win.
Milena, thanks so much. Now, the military junta in Niger has closed the country's airspace until further notice after rejecting a deadline to reinstate the country's democratically elected leader. The regional ECOWAS group of 15 African nations had called for the reinstatement of President Mohamed Bazoum, but their deadline passed yesterday. The military junta said it had closed Niger's airspace in the face of the threat of intervention that is becoming more apparent. Well, for more on this, I'm joined by our correspondent Sadia Chowdhury. And Sadia, it certainly raises the question of what might next happen from the perspective of Niger's either neighbours or more broadly, other previous international allies.
Well, we're still waiting to hear what ECOWAS will say. They gave the junta that ultimatum that you mentioned. That came and went yesterday, and we did expect to hear from ECOWAS yesterday, but we haven't yet. What we have heard is from the Italian foreign minister, who's asking for that deadline to be extended. Italy obviously have a vested interest here. They're trying to reinforce strategic energy partnerships with African countries, Niger one of them. The foreign governments are watching this very closely. It is a strategic country. It's very significant for the international community in terms of its fight against Al-Qaeda and ISIS-backed groups. In fact, that's one of the reasons why this coup sort of came about in the first place. President Bazoum accused of not doing enough to control them. France is saying that it is going to back any regional efforts to overturn the coup. The Italians are reducing the number of troops that they have in the country in the event that they might need to evacuate Italian civilians to those military bases. So a lot of focus internationally, but if you look on the ground, we've shown you some pictures of people who are celebrating it. It seems that the coup does have some popular support on the ground. Perhaps people are a bit fed up maybe of lots of turmoil in the country over the last few years. This is the 7th coup in 3 years in Niger, so it just shows you just how much people want perhaps something more stronger to come into place. They believe the army is best placed for that. But the junta has said that it's closed the airspace. It said that the threat of intervention from that Western African bloc is becoming more apparent. Certainly it doesn't look like there's a straight path to peace anytime soon.
Sadia, thank you. The Royal Air Force became the centre of a recruitment scandal when it was found to have broken employment law by fast-tracking female and ethnic minority recruits onto its training courses for 2 years. Well, now a group of white men who were rejected are calling for the applications to be reviewed, and some have told Sky News they're furious no one's taken responsibility for what happened, though the RAF has apologised. Our security and defence editor Deborah Haynes has this exclusive report.
Women should be defined by actions, not cliches. It started with a diversity drive and ended with discrimination against white men. Now Sky News can reveal a growing sense of outrage that no one's faced any sanction even though Royal Air Force recruitment broke equality legislation. 2 white men who failed to become pilots and the mother of a third have spoken anonymously about their anger and fears they might have faced discrimination too. We're calling this man James.
I think it's awful, to be honest. So many lives would have been affected by it, some even maybe ruined, because it's something some people just dream of their whole lives. And for there to be no action, nothing really done about it, just an apology, it just feels very cheap.
The new head of the Air Force apologised in June after an inquiry found the RAF had unlawfully fast-tracked women and ethnic minority recruits onto training courses. Faulty legal advice was blamed, but those with knowledge of what happened in the 2 years to March 2021 say that doesn't tell the full story.
I've spoken to a source who was working in the recruitment force at the time. They told me that multiple people on multiple occasions raised concerns with the leadership about the legality of what they were being asked to do, but nothing changed, and they wondered, why is no one listening to us?
It wasn't until a subsequent head of recruitment resigned last year in protest at what she deemed to be an unlawful order that the activity stopped and the inquiry was launched. But Group Captain Lizzie Nichol, the whistleblower, is the only person to have lost her career, despite these words to Sky News by the Armed Forces Minister last August.
If there is evidence of positive discrimination, the people responsible for that will be held vigorously to account.
As it stands, the then RAF boss, Air Chief Marshal Sir Mike Wigston, retired at the end of his tenure with a Red Arrows flypast. Air Vice Marshal Maria Byford, the top personnel officer, is also retiring, but until that date is on full pay. Under her, Air Commodore Joe Lincoln is moving to a new post, while Group Captain William Dole, head of recruitment at the time of the unlawful discrimination, is being promoted. The RAF says everyone had been acting with the best intent. But the mother of a white man who tried and failed to become a drone pilot is livid.
Oh my God, it just makes my toes curl when you say it. Somebody needs to be sacked. And I know we don't want our sons to be rejected, but you know, they do get rejected sometimes and you just take it on the chin. But this felt wrong from the get-go.
It's very competitive to become a pilot, meaning high rejection rates. Also, the confirmed cases of discrimination involve other ranks, not officer cadets. Yet another man, who we're calling William, isn't convinced and has asked for his rejected pilot application to be reviewed. We've reconstructed the interview to protect his identity.
At the end of the day, the trajectory of my life has changed as a result of discrimination. My career has entirely shifted. My plans for living, what part of the country I live in, not just my day-to-day, but all of the big picture stuff that has just been my dream has been erased. I've had to settle for a life that I didn't want.
An RAF spokesperson said about pilot recruitment, any offer of employment is based solely on merit. They also said, the RAF has rigorously scrutinised its recruiting practices and will continually monitor these processes to ensure there's no repeat of the mistakes that were made in the past. But the recruitment debacle could open the service up to litigation if more discrimination is proven.
There could have been other areas where this was, so heavily promoted to get their diversity and equality and improve the number of ethnic minorities and females within the organisation, that certainly other people could have been overlooked, and so they could bring an action either personally or they could even consider a class action.
One thing's certain, without greater accountability, doubts will linger about whether the Air Force really is learning from its law-breaking. Deborah Haynes, Sky News.
Well, we will be speaking more about that with a former group captain in the RAF at 11:30. You're watching Sky News Today with Wilfred Frost, and still to come, after COVID-19, what could be the next major pandemic? Well, Sky News visits the state-of-the-art facility where experts are attempting to stop a repeat of coronavirus. We'll be right back.
There's always more to the news than a headline. We want to discover, to delve a little deeper, to find out what's really going on. Explanation, analysis, the people at the heart of every story. I'm Neil Patterson, and this is the Sky News Daily Podcast. Alex Crawford joining us now from Ukraine.
Their personal possessions are all scattered around the place.
Our economics and data editor, Ed Conway, try and make sense of the big numbers for us.
Things can change incredibly quickly, and that's what they have done.
So, by the end, we'll hopefully all understand what's going on in the world just that little better. Available wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Greg Milam, and I'm Sky's chief North of England correspondent. We aim to be the best and most trusted place for news.
Welcome back. UK scientists have begun developing new vaccines to help prepare for any future pandemics. The work's being carried out at the government's high-security Porton Down lab in Wiltshire, which has been expanded to take on the extra research. Our science correspondent, Thomas Moore, was escorted around the site and sent this report.
In some of the most secure labs in the country, scientists are already preparing for the next pandemic. It's just called Disease X for now, because nobody knows for sure which virus will cause it. But at its Porton Down complex, the UK Health Security Agency is scanning the horizon for threats and starting work on vaccines just in case.
What we're seeing is a rising risk globally. Now, some of that is because of things like urbanisation, where you may get species jumping, so virus jumping from, as we've seen with bird flu, into humans. Some of it is because of climate change, so this is a growing risk agenda, but then it's one that we can use our science actively to prevent human impact.
It took a little under a year to develop the COVID jab. The target for a vaccine in the next pandemic is just 100 days. Bird flu, monkeypox and other animal viruses capable of infecting humans are being closely monitored.
One early success is a potential vaccine against Crimean Congo hemorrhagic fever. It's spread by ticks with a fatality rate of around 30%. It's found in Europe and it's moving north with climate change. That's why they're trying to get ahead, and clinical trials are already underway.
We've got another dead bird, not quite sure what that is.
But it is bird flu that currently tops the list of threats. Tens of thousands of seabirds have died this summer. There have been 4 human cases in the UK too. All worked in close contact with birds and all are well. But the National Trust, which looks after long stretches of the coast, is urging people to be cautious.
I think people are aware of bird flu and they're aware that there's dead birds that are being washed up. We're asking people not to go anywhere near the birds, and especially if they've got dogs, to keep the dogs on leads as well.
The bird flu virus has mutated and spread between some mammals, but the UK Health Security Agency says the risk to humans is still thought to be low. Thomas Moore, Sky News in Pembrokeshire.
Right, we're going to have a quick look at the weather now.
Warm memories wherever you go. The weather
Sponsored by Qatar Airways.
The next few days look rather cool and unsettled, but it will turn briefly drier and much warmer around the middle of the week. It should feel pleasant enough in the sunshine this afternoon. Despite temperatures being a little below average, there'll be a scattering of showers too, some heavy, but much of England and Wales will be dry. Later, Ireland will see low cloud and rain moving into the southwest, which may extend to Cornwall as well. More of the south will turn cloudy overnight with outbreaks of rain, but southeast England looks dry. Meanwhile, showers further north will become increasingly confined to northern Scotland. Tomorrow looks murky for much of Wales and central and southern England with outbreaks of rain or drizzle. The south of Ireland will be grey and damp too. Elsewhere, it'll be mainly dry with good spells of sunshine, but northern Scotland will keep a few showers. Wednesday will be noticeably warmer with plenty of sunshine, but western parts will see low cloud and patchy rain. Thursday looks mostly fine and fairly warm. Sky News Today with Wilfred Frost. Well, coming up, the first asylum seekers could be housed on the government's controversial barge in Dorset today. We'll get reaction from a refugee and resettlement specialist. That's next.
From SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Vedasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. Of darkness.
So what did that?
Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on The CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
The best radio show.
Broadcasting live online. Turn it on. Turn it up.
Hi there, this is CJ Buckman, your life coach. And whenever I'm in London, I listen to Starr Radio UK right here. But guess what? You can listen to wherever you are.
Body is your man. Bekutu, show them you got the cocoa set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harry Song, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Starr Radio. Don't go nowhere. UK, London. We they call them London for home. For here, we they call them London. And that's how you know. Just have fun and stay blessed.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK. Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Hey there, this is Archie, and it is Starr Radio UK and the morning show.
This is Starr Radio. This is UK. Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Welcome.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Starr Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
Love for you runs deep. All of you makes my heart beat. You make a doubt they fade. Jesus, and that's what makes you great. You hold the world in your hands, the hand that made me who I am. Same God now, yesterday, and forevermore. And that's what makes you great. You are God. You will never change. You remain the same to the end. To the end. You are God.
Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth, and those of you on other planets as well. We salute each and every one of you. Those of you in Brisbane or Adelaide watching the England-Nigeria match, I want to salute each and every one of you. I hope you are enjoying it. Apparently, Francis says it's a balanced game. He is watching it and giving me the commentary here, right? But wherever you are this morning, I know lots of our listenership, our viewers in Nigeria will be watching the match as well. But I hope you are all doing very, very well, and Nigeria didn't happen to you over the weekend. Today is Monday, the 7th day of the 8th month, that is August 2023, with the time now 10:39 from the heart of London. Let me say good morning to my team, Mr. Olayomi, HRH Linda Pallien, and Mr. Francis Guy, my able producer. To all our listeners here in the UK, namely Felix all the way in Aberdeen, Kojodi in the south, Mr. Malik Dramani, Mahama, Kovia Lee, Mr. Kate Yosin, Dr. Morton, and you wonderful people, all presenters on Starr Radio UK. I salute each and every one of you. One who took my and all the way in Nigeria, my Bishop Adesina, massive good morning. It's a kudos Starr Radio UK, and it's my best regard to you, my Bishop, and to all your lovely colleagues at the RBS office in Lagos, Nigeria. Wherever you are, I want to say good morning, Olakunle, Aziz, Anthony Adede G, Sir Maxwell Moyua, and all you wonderful people across the block, the world, the globe. Wherever you are, across board, listening to us, I salute you and I say welcome to the program. I remain yours sincerely, the one and only, Jesus, and that's what makes.
This is the morning show with Archie.
You hold the world in your. Okie. Let's crack on. So, on the Monday edition of the morning show, for the sake of those who have tuned in for the first time, this is how the program will go. I'm going to bring you the quote for the day, the weather forecast will follow suit, then the travel updates. We move from there to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe. It's known as global trotting. Then after that, we'll continue from there to have a look at some of the other stories making the rounds in Nigeria. That is updates from Nigeria with Mr. Olayomi at 11 o'clock. We then continue from there to look at all other stories in other parts of the world, from archaeology to zoology, from Accra to Zanzibar. I say it all the time, it's making the headlines. Why not? We're going to touch on it. At 12 o'clock, the lines will be open for you to add your voice to the discussions. At 12:30, the first part of the program will be brought to a close, and that will lead us straight to Cyprus, where our own HRH Linda Pallien is. Let's say good morning to Mr. Pallien and Ya Asantua Princess. I hope you are doing very, very well as well. But do me a massive favor, share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages, and let's crack on. So the quote for the day says, there is no way you can excel without certain ingredients of your life.
there's no way you can sell without certain ingredients of light. So that means that you need to check out those ingredients, put them in there, spice it up, and you will get there.
All of you makes my heart beat.
Straight on to the weather front for today. Well, we had a mixture of all sorts of weather over the weekend for London and the southeast of England, and in the UK as a whole, though. But this week promised to be more sunny and better, drier than we've seen of late. But if you're in London or the southeast of England, this is how the weather is going to be for you. It's going to be partly cloudy, and that will develop this afternoon, bringing a chance of a few isolated light showers, turning dry towards the evening with late sunshine. And tonight we'll start with dry conditions and just a few patches of light cloud lingering. The skies will clear early into the overnight period before more cloud builds in towards dawn. Total temperature is going to be 21 degrees, the lowest is going to be 11 degrees, pollen level is going to be moderate, UV level high, and pollution low. Sunset 20:39 and sunrise for tomorrow morning 05:33 hours. That brings us to the end of the weather forecast. We're going to take a quick break. We come back and I bring you the travel update. Stay tuned and don't you go away.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Vedasse.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, so keep your eyes on the roads, and we'll keep it navigated, I promise, our boy. Let me take the opportunity to say good morning to my bishop, Emmanuel Chidi. Pastor Emmanuel Chidi, I hope you are doing very, very well. Thank you very much for all your support all over this period. I mean, since the inception of Starr Radio UK, and until now, you've been there for us, and we are so grateful to you. Okay, so what is happening on the travel this morning? Now, when it comes to the major roads in London, there are no exceptional delays this morning on the underground this morning. Bakerloo line has got part closures, Central severe delays. London Overground have got part closures, and London Tramlink part closures there as well. That aside, all the other underground lines are in good service, and DL are in good service there as well. So continue to keep your eyes on the roads, also keep it navigated. Now, when we move on straight on to the river bus this morning, on the river bus, yes, RB, apart from the Woolwich Ferry that's got plant closures, all the others have got good service there. Also, on the London cable car, I can tell you shortly, good service there as well. And that brings us straight to the National Rail. Or wherever you are, keep your eyes on the roads as we continue to navigate you throughout the day. So on the National Rail this morning, Chiltern Railways, Great Northern, Greater Anglia, Southwestern Railway, Southern, Thames Link, and yes, have all got special service. That aside, Cross Country, First Transparent Express, Lumo, Northern Rail, and Transport for Wales have got minor delays. Gatwick Express has got no service, so please check before you leave here embarking on a trip or yes to Gatwick Airport. Then please don't use that. Okay, though. And let me say it once again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your comments for today, but you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the roads.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Okay, well, the commentary goes on now because I've got with me my able producer who is trying to feed me with all the necessary information that I need to see pertaining to this match. And what is going on? Yes, at the moment, the first part of the extra half is gone, and it is England nil and Nigeria nil as well. But well, when it comes to some of the stories going to be making around this morning, 4 billion fraud. Kano Anti-Graft Agency drags ex-Casco MD, 4 others to court. Abba yaba. Now, NMA urges federal government to reverse no work, no pay plan against medical workers. Okay, and Women's World Cup, England versus Nigeria, goes on. And how removal of fuel subsidy pushed me into robbing passengers, Lagos e-hailing driver is saying. Well, so somebody's told us about how the impact of the e-levy. And I've been saying that, I said, stealing or doing all those things is not the right thing to do. However, there are push factors that are causing people to behave the way they are behaving, and this is a typical example of that. The person thinks, can you just imagine, you leave home, you go to town, you have a wife, you got children, and they are expecting you to come back home with something for them to eat. I remember there was a story of this woman who put stones in a pot and put fire underneath it, just put some water in it, and then told the children, oh, I'm still cooking something, and it wasn't until late in the night when the kids out of hunger even just slept because the parent couldn't afford that. Now these are things that when our leaders are making decisions, they need to look at. And so when some people sit there aloof thinking that, well, you know what, yeah, coup d'etats are happening in other parts of the world, it wouldn't happen to us, I tell them, come again. Because desperate situation call for desperate measures. And how desperate are you? You people in power, you think that everything is okay with you. You make all the decisions and you think that, well, it's off. Of course, there are some excesses. But how do we curtail those? But should majority of people be suffering? And then a few enjoying? Is that fair? Well, somebody said that's the world that we live in. But wherever you are, keep your dials logged on Starr Radio UK. We'll be telling you more about what is happening in other parts of the world. Okay, in some other stories making the round this morning as well on the African continent. Now, Sonko's lawyer John Branco has been arrested by Senegalese police. Africa. Now, Franco's Spanish lawyer John Branco, representing Senegalese opposition leader Ousmane Sonko, is currently in the hands of the BIP, an elite police force in Senegal. Why? Okay. Well. We'll be telling you more about that. A Morocco minibus plunges and kills 24 people. Close to 30,000 Niger coup supporters gather in Niamey in anticipation of an invasion from the ECOWAS sub-region, because that was the promise that they gave. They said, we're giving you 7 days, and if you don't reinstate the overthrown president, then we are going to be coming for you. Well, they said we are ready. Bring it on. Okay, Starr Radio UK. Dozens missing after migrant boat sinks off Italian coast. When will all this end? And when our leaders sit down and they and their families and their cronies saying everything is fine, this is the world, this is Ghana, this is Nigeria, this is Africa, this is where we are living and everything is fine, a majority are suffering, then I say that is what is pushing them to cross the Mediterranean, dying in the course of doing so, and also that is happening. Well, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, a deadline for Niger coup leaders to restore democracy has arrived. What can they do? South Africa, Malema and Elon Musk tear each other apart on anti-apartheid song. Okay, I'll be bringing you more about all that in a moment, but wherever you are, stay tuned and don't touch the dial. Now, KNUST student killed over missing t-shirt at Kronom Kwapra. T-shirts. Anger, control, self-control. Well, and the Beige Bank case is correct. Accused never received any funds in person or stole funds belonging to the Beige Bank. That's what an investigator is saying. So what is all that noise about? Okay, BEC, GNECC calls on WAEC to prevent leakage of exams questioning. We'll tell you more about that. And government advocates a national condition of service scheme for journalists. Why? Okay, and 3 persons arrested for stealing boxes of medicine at Bogatanga Regional Hospital. Well, they steal it, they take it to their own shop or pharmaceutical shop or whatever, pharmacist, and then they will be selling it from there, though it's stated on it, not for sale. And they bring it to you, you are desperate, you want to get yourself healed or whatever, and why wouldn't you take it? You run for it and you take it, but not looking into the fact that this has been stolen from you. It is yours that have been nicked. Well. So let's see what is happening on that front as well. It is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. In other parts of the world, Niger junta shuts airspace as critical deadline expires, and all scouts living in South Korea come as typhoon looms. Well, the scouts gathered there for their, what do they call it, jamboree, but well, the typhoon seemed to be causing mayhem, and therefore they've all evacuated. Is Imran Khan's political future over? Now he's in jail? Well, last Saturday he was jailed, and I was asking the question, well, why have they jailed? It's quite interesting, and but we'll be bringing you more about that. Israeli security forces killed 3 Palestinians. The Israeli army said in a statement that the Palestinians were heading to carry out an attack. How true is that? How did they assess it? A woman caned at Kenyan care home. Secret footage being shown. BBC uncovers evidence of mistreatment and neglect of elderly residents, and you have the care workers caning. Because can you imagine if it's my parent or my mom or my dad there and you are doing that? I'm going to come there and come and bash you. But well, that's what is going on. Abuse. The Pakistan passenger train derails, killing 30 people. Well, that's what's happening in Pakistan now. Several coaches of the Hazara Express overturned near the Sahara station in the south of the country. So coming away from Starr Radio UK. When it comes to the UK from Women's FIFA Women's World Cup, England 0, Nigeria 0. James sent off a tie into extra time. Oscar, mother awake for 60 hours as sand scare breaks down, and then first asylum seekers to board BB Stockholm barge is taking place as well. New inquest ordered into 5 UVF murders as well. So a lot more going to be coming your way from the UK as well. But there's a lot more coming. Stay tuned. Don't you go away. As we take this musical break, and we'll be bringing you Mr. Olayomi Koiki in a moment. This is Everlasting to Everlasting from Pastor Theodora Boachi Answer. Stay tuned and don't you go away.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Emmanuel.
friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Vedasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I know that Yomi is trying to finish with the main game, and then when it gets to the penalties, he'll be joining in. It looks like the game is going to go into penalties. Well, they played. They have an extra time of the extra time. That is 3 minutes. Which they played 2 minutes of it. So we see how it's all going on. But well. Some of the stories that we're going to be looking at: 4 billion fraud. Kano anti-graft agency drags ex-Casco MD to court. And then moving on just straight. Well. In the World Cup, England sensation on the ongoing Women's World Cup. Lauren James got a red card after stamping on Nigeria's defender Alozie. Okay, so lots more going to be coming your way from there. But wherever you are, stay tuned and don't touch the dial at all. Yes. I will bring you all the necessary commentary as and when we get them. So just stay tuned, get your fingers crossed, and let us enjoy the program. Okay, so let me see whether I can even capture a bit of it for you during the course of the program as well. I think I can do so. But just bear with me whilst we wait for Mr. Olayomi Koiki to join in. Okay, I can see the celebrants going on, but I've got with me my colleague and co-presenter Mr. Olayomi Koiki, who I bet is vying for the greeny. What do they call them? They are not greeny girls, but Yomi will be telling you more. Is there green falcons? I think so. Yes. And he is in our North London studios all ready to fire on all cylinders. And let me go straight on to him, Mr. Olayomi Koiki. And let me say, Yomi, good morning.
Well, a very good morning to you back in the studio, Mr. Archie. Good morning to all our listeners and viewers from around the world. And welcome once again to the morning show, the Monday edition, the 7th day of August. And I welcome back again to you after the long weekend, because it's always a long weekend, especially when there's a lot at stake on the other side of the globe. How are you, Mr. Archie, and how was the weekend?
Yeah, the weekend was okay, busy, but yes, okay. Well, we thank God, at least Nigeria didn't happen to us. We are still alive and we are here for us to be looking at everything. But let's go straight on. How is my family there? Everyone doing good?
Well, the family are doing very well. We give thanks. The family are doing very well. We give thanks. We're always grateful, especially it is still the holiday period. So that means, there is a lot when it comes to family. Like I always say, family comes first in everything. And as long as the family are doing very well, that means we are also grateful as well. So we are grateful this morning as the family are doing very well as well.
Okay, listen to Star Radio UK. I can tell you tentatively that the England and Nigeria game has gone through the extra time, and now it's going to be penalties because it's still goalless. So we'll be following very, very closely. And as I did say, behind Yomi is a poster of, I think, what brought about the scent of Lauren James. And let me go straight to Yomi for him to just deliberate or give us some breakdown on that. Over to you, Yomi.
Yes, just before coming on air, just about 33 minutes ago, Lauren James has been given a red card after the foul on Alozia. England's session is still ongoing. The World Cup, Lauren James got a red card, and exactly what happened, that led to that, red card is what is just playing behind, at the background there. Once again, I come back again to you in the studio, Mr. Archie.
Okay. We wish them all the best, because we live here. It is our home here, and back home is our home as well. So it's interesting. Where do our loyalties lie now? I told Francis that my loyalty, I think I have to be.
Someone did ask me that. Where do we put our heads, especially with the game like this? For those of us, sometimes we find ourselves in this kind of situation when we have countries that we've come from and other countries that are playing. So we see what happens. Like you said, we're monitoring that. We'll be giving updates on that as soon as we have that as well. So I'll come back again to you in the studio, Mr. Archie.
Okay. Listen to Star Radio UK. Mr. Olayomi Koikina and North London Studios. I'm actually here in the South Studios. Okay. Now we're bringing you updates, as we did say, in the World's Women's World Cup that is going on. Okay. Now, let's first of all come to, even when these ladies were supposed to go for the World Cup, monies that's supposed to be given to them and allowances and stuff like that was a big deal. So we're thinking that even they might not perform very well, but they're forgetting about everything of the sort and still are cracking up. But when we see blatantly that people are causing fraud or defrauding the nation, then people are asking the question, are some people better off than others? Well, 4 billion fraud. Kano Anti-Graft Agency drags the ex-Casco MD and 4 others to court. Now, what is Casco all about? And then how come 4 billion is gonna miss?
Well, Casco stands for the Kano State Public Complaint and Anti-Corruption Commission, this is called the PAC. They've actually now dragged a former managing director of Agricultural Supply Company Limited, Casco. The question you ask is, people knows around, the public sector. That means they take advantage of so many opportunity that is meant to be for the citizens, and that literally means that people like that have access to what others should have access to as well. So Bala Mohammed and the 4 others to court over alleged diversion of the tune of 4 billion in grants to a private account. It's not even a money to them. This was a grant, and let's go further into it as well. What do we know and what is happening in Kano State? In the last couple of days, we've been, on Friday, remember we talked about a particular family, both the father and the son, also facing, what he calls, to being dragged, by the state, Kano State Public Complaint. And the reason why we are seeing these is because we have a new sheriff in town. So nobody will be left untouched when there's a new governor, and the previous governor doesn't have a say anymore to protect his own. And that is exactly what is being played out right now. Those, respondent in the 10-count charges are Inwe Muhammad, Alima Inwa, Najib Mohammed are all the incorporate trustees of the associations of the Compassionate Friends. The respondent are facing trial on criminal breach of trust, criminal misappropriation, and making false statements or returns contrary to the penal code of the PAC law of Kano State before the Kano High Court. So we're going to be seeing what that happens, but we're talking about millions. The application further stated that the first defendant, Bala Inwa Mohammed, was a former managing director of Casco, unlawfully transferred 20 million naira into his own personal account of one Muse Shehu Ahmed in an FCMB account details from Casco account, domicile in a Senate bank. He was also accused of dishonestly misappropriating and converting the sum belonging to the Kano State government meant for grant to Casco, thereby committing an offense under Section 308 of the Penal Code, punishable under Section 309 of the Penal Code as well.
Well, we don't know what is going to happen to them pertaining to that, but well, listeners, it's Star Radio UK. England has missed their first penalty there. As I did say, I'm going to bring Nigeria has also missed. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! These penalties, I don't think is going very well for both countries. But well, as we promised you, we'll be bringing you updates for this. Just stay in. Well, Yoruba Niyi says good morning to everyone. We hope you are doing very, very well as well. But so is it because there's a new president in town? As we say, there's a new sheriff in town, and there's a new. Is there a new governor in Kano now?
Well, Ganduje, we will say now the new chairman of the APC lost out, in his state. He couldn't get his predecessors to get in, and that means we have a new governor in the state. Remember, it's still the same governor that was destroying some of the buildings and the facilities, in Kano State. So this is the reason why we are seeing such kind of, betting. Because what we know is most of the governors tends to use each other to protect, their corrupt way. And we're talking about, grants that should have been available for almost everyone, but it doesn't seem that is happening. And that is why the new governor of Kano State is not taking any chances, especially to recover looted funds meant for the citizens.
Okay. Well, listeners, it is Star Radio UK. The penalties continue. In Brisbane, where the World Cup is.
I think England have scored a penalty from the screen on the other side here as well. So we continue to give an update on that.
Yes. Okay, let's move on. NMA urges federal government to reverse no work, no pay plan against medical workers. Now, so medical workers can decide we want to embark on a strike, and he said the NMA is saying that, look, you guys have to reverse that, so that if we say we are on strike, you still have to be paying us for that. How fair is that, Yomi?
Well, how fair is that? We know so many workers are asking for much more, especially a standard of living as well. The chapter of the FCT of the Nigerian Medical Association has now urged the federal government to actually reconsider its no work, no pay proposed policy for the medical workers, saying the act will actually destroy, the sector. The call was put together by the association, was made in collaboration with the Nasarawa and the Kogi chapter as well. At the new conference, a news conference that took place yesterday in Abuja to usher in the 2023 annual general meeting. According to Charles Ugo Uwanyi, the NA chair in Abuja, condemned the proposed policy by the federal government, which took the decision following the National Association of the Resident Doctor.
Okay. We'll see if there is a need for them to. But what has the government said? What has been the government response on that?
Well, the government haven't actually responded yet, so we still have to see, what the government is going to be responding. It seems already that the hands of the president is quite full. And as we know that the ministers have only just been, confirmed by the Senate, so the ministers will take charge from where, the permanent secretary have been doing so in the last couple of months, which is exactly 3 months now that the president is on his seat.
Well, listeners, it is Star Radio UK. Mr. Olayomi in our North London studios. I'm Archie here in the South studios, and we are bringing you updates from Nigeria. The penalties are still going on. We'll be telling you more about that in a moment. But moving on, well. Now somebody's saying that, you know what, the removal of the fuel subsidy has cost me. To now be robbing. So the push factor pushing people into some adverse behavior. I said earlier on, desperate times calls for desperate measures, and it seems that that's what has happened.
Well, there's more crime going on because of the economic situation, even though it is not something that we would love to see. But it seems that these Uber driver decided to take crime because of the subsidy. That is not an excuse, but as we do say, there's a lot of Nigerians that are now falling into the trap of such. I'm just trying to pick up the news back from where we got it earlier on this morning. Once again, it is still Starr Radio UK, the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. I actually watched him, speaking, and the reason behind his crime was because the subsidy removal actually led to such. That is not an excuse, and he'll have to face, the cost of the law. Especially this happened in Lagos State.
It's not an excuse, but when our leaders are making decisions, that is where my worry comes, because the thing is, the decisions that they are making some way somehow impacts people, majority of the people, and we don't look at those things holistically. So we just say that, oh yes, in our own circles, because we made this and we are able to go about our businesses, and we don't feel the impact as majority of people are feeling. Where in the country we say that majority of people, 150 million, are highly impoverished, then we have a problem. So if this man, can you just imagine just going out in the morning, your children are at home, they are on holidays now, they are at home, and you are supposed to go out, come and fend for them. You are coming home and you have nothing. That is desperate measure. That's caused people to be crossing the Mediterranean, losing their lives and everything. But when our policymakers are making policies, they don't look at those things. And I do ask myself the question, if should there be coup d'etats across the country and then ruining everything? We'll be talking about democracy. We should have allowed the rule of law to work. But the rule of law, I think that is working for just a handful of people, but not the majority of the people. Yomi.
Well, the rule of law, as you can be hearing, so many of the money stolen there and there are also meant to cushion the secession. But as we know that most of the governors are saying they are doing their best, to support citizens, from Lagos State to the northern part of the country. They are doing almost whatever they can, to support the federal government as well. And the reason for that is so that the federal government can also have what we call a support system to support many of its citizens, from most of the state. Most governors are putting out extra effort when it comes to the transportation, which is the real bulk of it as well. I mean, I was listening to someone yesterday telling us the amount of trekking many Nigerians are doing right now will fall back into the body, because the more walking you're doing to save money to get to point A to point B will eventually come back on you. So, and that is why we're still waiting for what the federal government palliative will be like. But again, it seems that many Nigerians are asking the question, for 24 years, we've expected a bit of much more to what we are seeing right now. But in a country where we are not producing and production is not top mark, definitely we did not prepare, for the raining days.
Well, listen to Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Unfortunately, Nigeria has lost 2-4 for the penalty, so England has won the game. It's unfortunate. We did our best, but hey, we are neither here nor there, are we?
Well, I'm sure the team performed very well, even in the midst of the NFF, the Nigerian Football Association, that refused to put in some of the measures in place. I mean, the whole system is corrupt. We know that, but we can only say congratulations to the Super Falcon for putting it out there, especially in the midst of the League Two. And eventually get into that round. But it seems that England have actually now come to the next stage, and Nigerians will now be making their way home, maybe in the next couple of days. Let's hope they have a flight to bring them back home.
Well, Demola Udomi says that, well, divide the country is the solution. He reckons that if we have divided the country and we have a Yoruba team going and we have Igbo team going, maybe the Northern team going, maybe we would have seen a different result there. But well, whatever it is, they've done well, and I believe that they've actually represented Africa as a whole very, very well. They put their best foot forward. They played very, very well, but for the penalties. So let's see what happens from there on their arrival. Let's hear what the president will say there as well. Listeners, Starr Radio UK from our North London studios, Mr. Olayomi, I'm Archie here in the South studios, and we are bringing you updates from Nigeria. Now, I thought that with the inception of the new what do we call them, service chiefs, now we're going to be seeing maybe the falling of insecurity in the country, but it doesn't look like that. A breaking story that is coming through says that a monarch's wife had been kidnapped. Yummy in Nasarawa. Tell me more about that.
Well, mock kidnapping is still happening under the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I can say literally we've had many Nigerians, asking the question, what is the role? I mean, yes, we know that the Nigerian army are also saying that they are performing their best. Let's first look at what happened over the weekend from the Nigerian army and what we know so far. We know that the Nigerian army were able to rescue, certain Nigerians that were, kidnapped. As more kidnaps continue in Nigeria in the last 3 months of the new government, the stage of kidnapping is still one of the biggest problems. And as we say, gunmen have now kidnapped a monarch wife in Nasarawa. What do we know? Heavily armed men suspected to be kidnappers last night have adopted the king of Gukwa community in Karu local government area in Nasarawa state. His Royal Highness Jubril Mama Waziri alongside his wife Ajia Sadiatu Waziri after their adoption in the palace, which is located around mountains in the area. The gunmen took the first-class royal father and his wife to an unknown destination, but the resident who plead, this actually happened about 10 p.m. We know that it is not just the royal father that have been kidnapped. Many Nigerians have been also kidnapped in the last 3 months of the Bola Tinubu being in the government. You did talk about the service chiefs. Yes, the expectation of many Nigerians is that now that we have these new faces, I mean, these are all the faces of the service chief, from the Naval to the chief of defense to the IG to the custom, but it seems that kidnapping is still a big business when it comes to Nigeria. And the question is, how do we resolve these crises, especially as many Nigerians are the one facing the situation?
Well, listeners, interesting. Now, maybe they're going to be coming out with a white paper to tell us exactly what their plans are to protect, because we have the president last week and I think a week before talking about they bringing in measures to keep people, put people on the farms and stuff like that, agriculture sector. But we have people in the north where they are predominantly farmers and they cannot go to their farms because of insecurity. So, are we putting the cart before the horse, or what are we actually doing? But I hope that they all come up with a white paper to tell us how they are going to address this issue of insecurity in the country. It is Starr Radio UK, 11:27 the time, the morning show, the program. Tinubu advised to pick the Niger Delta Affairs Minister from oil producing areas. How would that pan out? So, oil producing area. So let's say the Yoruba area, where if there are oil production there, should they pick somebody from there? And Niger area, they pick somebody from there as well?
Well, the crude oil is one of the main reasons why there's a lot of uncertainty in Nigeria, especially those communities that have been badly affected, and the image coming up right now tells you exactly what it looks like. It's even much better like this, but by the time you get to those communities, they've been actually destroyed. The reason why Ken Saro-Wiwa was killed by the late Sani Abacha, because he was complaining as part of the Ogoni on the environmental damages in that area. Niger Delta is now one of the most important part as well in Nigeria, because Nigerian production continued not to hit the target because of the illegal vessel coming into the country. One was actually stopped again last week, I believe over the weekend. But Tinubu is now advised to go into the Niger Delta and pick someone from that area as a minister from the oil producing area. The Ministry of the Niger Delta affair is more about political and requires someone from an oil producing area. Does that mean the person, even if they are not well up to the top notch, but it seems that the region is saying this is exactly what they think. Stakeholders from the Niger Delta region have now appealed to the President Bola Tinubu to appoint an indigene of the area as his Minister of Niger Delta Affairs.
Now, interestingly, that is quite a big one to ask the president to do so. Now, are we trying to say that if it's an indigene, he will see to it that things are done properly? And all in the past years, who have been the minister there? Which part of the country are those there have represented that particular office? Yomi?
Well, according to the Movement for Protection of Oil Producing Community in Niger Delta, made this appeal in Yenoga in Sunday last night. Frank and Godwin Edikan, the chair and the secretary of the movement, in a joint statement, the stakeholders say the individual from the oil producing areas understand the plight of the people and will be in the best position to advise the president. And you might want to say is a fair deal, because since this region provide part of the bigger chunk of revenue for Nigeria, and bringing in somebody from a different region that doesn't live there, doesn't understand the plight of the people, might not literally be in the government interest. According to the stakeholders with the Nigerian constitution, every state is entitled to produce a minister, and the president must fulfill that requirement. But again, they argue that expert and a minister in a relevant field will man each ministry. According to the Ministry of Justice, will always be manned by a lawyer. The Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs is more about the political and not of that expertise. So the oil producing area within Niger Delta region said, now it is all about the president, urging the president to put the square pegs in the square holes.
Now, so are they imagining or thinking that they can go and take somebody from the Ogoni area? Let's cite the case of Ken Sararua, who was killed. Who knows the devastation of what is happening in their environment? Are they prepared to pick somebody like that? The president prepared to pick somebody like that to say represent your people there, and therefore the person is going to see to it that such things are dealt with, or what are they looking for exactly?
Well, let's take you back to a bit of history. The Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs is one of the federal ministries of Nigeria. It focuses on the infrastructure, development, environmental protection, and most importantly, the empowerment of the youth in the oil-rich Niger Delta region. It was announced by the then Nigerian President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua on the 10th of September 2008. And the reason for that is because there's been tension in that region. Without development, there's been pipeline destruction. There's been also illegal oil bunkering across. But the new ministry would have a minister in charge of the development of the Niger Delta area and the minister of the state in charge of the youth empowerment. But what we have seen so far is being not to the expectation. In June 2020, President Muhammadu Buhari approved the appointment of 12 new permanent secretaries, including Dr. Baba Ayo Adokuma as the permanent secretary, Minister of the Niger Delta Affairs. Let's take you back again. Peter Godwill Orubebe was appointed the Minister of the Niger Delta on the 6th of April 2010, when the acting president then, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, announced his new cabinet. As at March 2012, a report in the Vanguard indicated relatively little had been accomplished in the first 4 years. Projects to improve roads, build the skills to waterfront development, including the dredging and the port development, but nothing tangible had been done. There was also a large gap between the federal promises and amounts to the release. The spokesman for the ministry said priority will be on completing it. So it seems that people were using that particular region as a cash out.
Okay. Listeners, it is Star Radio UK. In our North London studios, Mr. Olayomi I'm Archie here in the South studios, 11:34 the time. So I'll go back to Yomi for the rest of the story that is making the rounds this morning. Over to you, Yomi.
Well, let's go back again. The deadline, has now come to an end as Bola Tinubu and ECOWAS, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, given that 7 days ultimatum. That ultimatum have now come into, expiration, but yet there hasn't been anything so far. We know that over last week, the Senate, has not yet approved the president, going to war, on behalf of ECOWAS, to Niger Republic. But it seems that, some of the governors that are sharing border with Niger are already concerned as we speak right now. There's been a lot of concern. I've been listening to some of them, and the pictures you're looking behind me are all governors representing the northern part. The governors in attendance were Ahmed Aliyu from Sokoto State, Umar Namadi from Jigawa State, Mayor Malami Buni from Yobe State, Idris Nassar from Kebbi, and Dr. Diko Rather from Katsina State. The northern elite have literally kicked against the plan on slaughter against the military junta in Niger, while citing the likely consequence of such action on Nigeria. And such action will literally mean that since we have land border close to Niger, there's going to be a lot of tension there, and that is the reason why they paid a visit to the president yesterday. The president had written to the leadership of the National Assembly to approve the deployment of the military personnel to the troubled Niger, but that hasn't come back. The Senate, however, have turned down the request, while it asked Tinubu and other leaders of the region to tread with caution. Let's see what was said by the northern leaders as well yesterday. Professor, he actually spoke yesterday, that's Professor Usman, and this is how he responded to journalists over his article as well.
Responsibility of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is to Nigeria and not to ECOWAS. He answers to us. He's not even addressed Nigerians and justify what he's going to do. He's gone to the Senate to ask for approval. Has no way to declare war. It's not easy declaring war. You're sending your men and women into harm's way. Go and get killed and kill. I've said it clearly from the outset of that piece I wrote. I am not into political correctness. We in the North, we are tired of wars. We have been at war for 13 years. For 14 years now with Boko Haram, since 2009. And 9 years with bandits and kidnappers. And you're bringing a fresh war to us. And we share with Niger Republic, long before the creation of these two entities, Niger and Nigeria, we have shared heritages in our culture, in our religion, in our languages. We share a border over 1,000 kilometers from the west, from the northwesterly end in Kebbi to the northeasterly end in Borno. We have Zabarmas in Nigeria and Niger. We have Hausas. They are the predominant tribe in Niger, 53%. We have Fulanis. We have Kanuris. The whole of Difa region around the northeast of Nigeria, they are Kanuris. So we're going to war and killing them for what? Before any president goes to war, he comes and explains to his people, these are the reasons.
Well, you heard it very well there. It seems again there's a lot of pressure, as we say, and I know you want me to come back into the studio. Maybe we should add to this, and this is actually also coming out this morning from the government in exile of the Prime Minister Simon Ekpa, and then we can put that together.
Good morning, fellow Biafrans. Good morning, Africa. Good morning, West Africa. This is the 7th day of August 2023, and I have come this morning on the request of the Biafra people. I want to start by encouraging the Asemini Goita. I want to also encourage the new Burkina Faso president, Ibrahim Traore. And finally, I want to encourage the new Niger Republic president, General Omar Chiani. I want them to understand that the wave of freedom that is now in Africa, especially in West Africa, must continue. We want to let them know this morning that Biafrans are standing very strong behind them. We are fighting the self-freedom, both economic freedom and the complete freedom of our people. And I want them to understand, should in case Nigeria lead military invasion of Niger Republic, they should understand that they have brothers and sisters and alliance in Biafra land. I want them to understand that we are going to stand shoulder to shoulder to fight against Nigeria for our own freedom. So if they are worrying about Nigeria invading and attacking Niger Republic and how they are going to do it, engage them from the north, it is going to be more easier. Why they engage Nigeria in the north, we the Biafra people are going to engage Nigeria from the eastern region.
Well, you've had it there, and that also, coming out from the government in exile, the Prime Minister Simon Ekpa this morning, it seems as the northerners are complaining, the southeast, under the leadership of the Biafra government in exile, is putting its support behind the Burkina Faso, the Mali, and the new government in Niger. And it seems already there's a lot of tension in the south, in the west part of Africa, as we can say this morning.
Yeah, interestingly, I'm looking at it that, look, the northerners in Nigeria are related to, some of them are related to those in Niger. It is like this Ukraine and Russia banter thing that is going on, because they are related some way, somehow. So why don't they look at a peaceable diplomatic means to resolve whatever is going on, but rather giving them an ultimatum that you don't do that and you don't do that. And again, like Simon Ekpa is saying, it's not everything that Simon Ekpa says that I agree with, but in this case, when people are looking at being marginalized, the access is not being treated, but some people, or like I was saying earlier, just a handful of people, I mean, using that same law to siphon everything from the country, and then if things like that happen, why do you want to blame them? So I agree with someone on that front there, that they think that standing, I mean, if they should attack, but is Nigerian or are Nigerians eager that ECOWAS, led by Nigeria, will invade Niger?
The good thing was that last night we had a caller from Niger, a Nigerian that has been living there for a very long time. And they are already waiting for any sort of an attack, because they will be also protecting Niger, fighting against Nigeria. And that is the question, because I did put to the individual caller, what is the views of Nigerians that are living in Niger, and they quite seem to be excited and happy, because he said during the coup he spent up to 1 o'clock in the morning before returning back home, because they were so excited. Whether they're excited, and the French government are not excited because, a democratic elected government has been uprooted, is a question where the West argument lies, and we know that, the West is saying that there is a democratic government in place, and according to the minister of the foreign minister of the French yesterday said, during the journalist question that, the ECOWAS must do everything to uproot that power in place by the junta. Many Nigerians are concerned as well. We had a caller from Lagos as well that say, I live with the Niger and the Hausas and Fulanis, and I'm already scared that should anything happen, will I be the first attack in my residence in Lagos State? And that is being questioned, raised by many Nigerians. Even there was a young man I believe in America, on a TikTok that says he needed the number of the president's son, Seyi Tinubu, that maybe there's a blockage on the heirs of his father, President Bola Tinubu, that needs to be removed, because this is not INEC stealing, ballot box in Oshodi. We are now talking about a serious situation that could lead to why the northern governors are now concerned that they might be facing a battle between those border within Niger.
Now, listeners, if you are listening to me, I want you to come to me. Let us know what you think about this, because it looks like when there was a coup in Burkina Faso, and there was a coup in which one before in Mali, we didn't see them saying that, look, ECOWAS is going to, troop in, and then we didn't see the West saying we're going to be doing that, we're going to do that, we are giving you ultimatum. Is it because Niger has got uranium? And is it because that they are scared that Russia, who are now having their mercenaries there, might have their hands on those uranium, and then that will enrich Russia the more, so that they cannot? Is that why they are now scared? And that means that anytime any African country is in trouble, they wouldn't mind them unless that trouble could lead to their demise or work against them before they will act. Yomi?
Well, that has been the reaction of many, not just Nigerians, many Africans that believe that it seems that the West is making the push because of the natural resources under the ground of Niger. And again, I was shocked to hear from the caller again that during the COVID, every woman was, not the men, they were given equivalent of 50,000 naira in money, and up to today they are still getting 17,000 naira. I mean, we saw what happened, during the COVID in Nigeria. Rather, people were keeping the palliative until citizens met it, and then started taking it out. So it's a question in the heart of many Nigerians that is this really our concern, especially a country that is going through a rough time, economic-wise, security-wise, welfare, standard of living. I mean, we're talking about a Nigerian that has 2-1 and is a driver, and the man was able to give us that his salary is not up to $40, it's about 39.40 cents when it comes to the equivalent of what is earning. Many Nigerians are saying the government has a lot already to deal with. The last thing is, who is going to pay for the cost of the war is the question in hand.
War is very, very expensive. War is very, very, very expensive. And we have Boko Haram. We've not dealt with it. We have what do you call them? All these kidnappings and stuff like that. ISIS, and we've not dealt with it. And we think that now we have to extend. Spread our military thin to go and do that. Let us think again. Well, listeners, Starr Radio UK. Let's go back to Yomi. I interrupted him so that I can bring you the rest of the stories making the rounds. Over to you, sir.
Well, we're just going to bounce straight into the social media as we continue to monitor the reactions. Like I said earlier, troops of Operation Adari Daji rescue 5 kidnapped victims and also neutralize scores of the armed bandit. The troops of the Joint Task Force Northwest Operation Adari Daji have continued to record more success as they rescue 5 kidnapped victims, neutralized cause of the armed bandit, and recovered arms and ammunition. These all took place in Zamfara State, and this is coming from the Nigerian military, this morning as we continue to monitor that as well. Also, let's go back now to, what Nigerians are saying. Naaman seems to be trending 21,000 this morning. ECOWAS is trending. Gandude is trending. Fashola is trending. And we know the reason why ECOWAS is trending, because many Nigerians are now asking what is going to be the next move since the deadline have come to pass in the last couple of days. Just yesterday rather. Again, many Nigerians are also asking questions surrounding Gandude being the chairman of the APC, even though there's still a lot of allegation on him as we speak right now. So that is about it. Let's now look at what others are saying. Aisha Yusuf is a back supporter of Peter Obi. We don't know what is going to be the outcome yet from the election tribunal. We are all waiting. But she says, you would tell a child stealing is bad, and they will be looking at Gandude and think you are mad. Dele Farotimi, hashtag Nikure. At some point, every Nigerian still capable of truthful introspection and objectivity will come to agree that APC is exactly what it says. It is a conglomeration of criminals who views governance as a means to enslave others and Nigerians. And the video of Gandude, putting in the dollar in his Babariga is something to look into. Fisayo Shoyombo, another investigative journalist in Nigeria, from being filmed actually stashing $230 under his Babariga in 2018, Abdullahi Ganduje has now emerged as the national chairman of the Nigerian ruling party. Elsewhere, he will be rotting in jail today, but Nigeria being Nigeria, the reward for corruption is just the public office. So what actually are Nigerians saying? Again, when it comes to ECOWAS, there's a lot of mixed reaction. Again, Nigerians are reacting to the the attack on the Super Falcon, even though they've lost out by Lauren James, sending off. It would have been a best one if they have won the game, but I'm sure some are saying, well, we were never won, so that means that there's no way we can get to the final of the game. Over the weekend, there was the launch of the Yoruba Nation Radio that has now gone live as we speak. The transmission is now on the shortwave every Saturday. It's going to be coming live between Saturday, 8 p.m. local time Nigeria, 8 p.m. local time Yoruba, from 9 p.m. 1 hour Saturday and Sunday. That could be listened to on the shortwave across the continent on the 17735, where you can listen to that. Also, the online version is already on, and that is 7 days a week. Also, as we continue to monitor the situation on the ECOWAS, I believe if there's any news, Archie will give it to you as he's going to be picking it up. But for now, I'm going to return back again to the studio, while we'll be in the back end of the studio monitoring the situation in Niger, as many Nigerians are now thinking maybe it's going to be a late night invasion, or maybe there will be negotiation. We know that the Niger have now closed again their airspace, and that means anything flying up there, we don't know what might be the end of it.
Yeah, can be shut down, because if you close our airspace and you invade their airspace, then we have to bring you down. But the question that is bugging me is that should ECOWAS decide, or President Tinubu, who is the chair of ECOWAS, decide that, look, I'm not going to do anything because of what my countrymen are saying? Would that not empower other countries to think that, yeah, we can also go on to just conduct coup d'etats, and after all, well, nothing.
Questioning even his own office. Some are still questioning his own office, that he's still an illegitimate president, because there's still the ongoing election tribunal. And what some also are saying, that it seems that he's trying to play the smart game, because when you go to war, you cannot remove the president. Yeah. Well,
let's see. We'll keep fingers and everything crossed, and we'll see what is going to happen. But a quick one. A friend of mine was asking me over the weekend, Chief Sunday Igboho, the mom's funeral. Has there been any update to it, and has there been any reaction from government?
Everything is still on hold. They've done the 8 days, but they are. She hasn't been buried yet, but. There's still a lot of discussion underneath that is not for public consumption yet.
Okay. Yomi, let me say thank you very, very much. And to every one of you on all the other platforms, those of you on the Facebook, those of you on Twitter, and all the Starr Radio UK platforms and other platforms that we are broadcasting, the sister platforms that we are broadcasting on, let me say thank you very, very much. Yomi, before you go.
Well, I'll be back again same time tomorrow at 11 o'clock on the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. My name is Olayomi, and I'm going to leave you with you now in the good hands of Archie. Remember to follow us on Twitter at Starr Radio UK.
All right, then. We catch up later. Listen at Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to 8 minutes to the top of the hour. And it is the Monday edition of the Morning Show. I just had Mr. Olayomi bringing you all the details and everything that you need to know pertaining to what is happening in the Niger area. Okay, I'm going to bring you some music, and then we'll continue. At 12 o'clock, I'll open the lines for you to add your voice to the discussions. Then we'll look at some of the other stories making around. Will ECOWAS invade Niger? And what's the point? Nigerians are saying, why should we send our troops there to go and lose their lives? Is it the West pushing? Because their interest, because Niger sacked France and said, we don't want anything to do with you, we're not going to be, and all those countries that have undertaken that coup are saying that you know what, we want you out, and are allowing the Russians to come in via their Wagner mercenaries, and therefore reckoning that, well, it's giving Russia more control. Is that what they are scared of? And again, I do ask myself that question. Has the West, or the white man, let me put it that way, got permanent friends, or have they got permanent interests And so when the moment those interest wanes, then they think that, yeah, to hell with you. We don't want you. We'll send everything and come and fight you. What do you think about all that? And then finally, what do you think about our governance system? Is democracy, the kind of democracy that we are practicing, is it the best way? Do people actually go to the polling station to go and vote as per policies and not because somebody has been bribed or induced or is being forced to vote in a particular way? Here, if I want to go and vote, I go there. I don't give a hoot whether it's Conservatives or Labour or Green Party or Independent. I look at the policies that they have. How is it going to benefit me? And I go on to vote. But back home, it's not like that. Some are saying that let's take it easy because that is how politics goes. So it'll take a bit of time and we'll get there. We'll get where? When some people are using that same law to actually marginalize others? What do you think? Let's stay there. Roots Rider says what? Guiltiness. Enjoy. It's a cover version of Bob Marley's tune.
Guiltiness, talking about guiltiness. Let's down their conscience. Oh yeah, oh yeah. And they live a life of false pretense every day, teaching every day.
This is Starr Radio. This is Starr Radio UK.
Just a small fish. Tell you what, yes. And they would do anything to materialize every wish. Sorrow. They'll eat the bread of sad tomorrow.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Bread of sorrow. Guiltiness, talking about guiltiness. Stand their conscience. Oh yeah, oh yeah. And these are the big fish. These are the big fish who always try to eat down the small fish. Just a small fish. And tell you again, they will do anything to materialize your every wish. They'll eat the bread of sorrow. They'll eat the bread of sad tomorrow.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio. You are listening to Starr Radio Morning Show.
They eat the bread of sorrow every day. Oh yeah.
Your favorite Afro-Caribbean radio station in the UK.
Amsterdam, if you're feeling the music and the energy of Bob Marley, make some noise.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One. Tune in every day, every night at the Starr Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say Orta, you say fire.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Is gone 12 o'clock exactement, and therefore the lines are open. Let me call it in 0208-133-2257 or 58 0208-133-2257 or 58. US or Canada is 001-718 303-2737 001-718-303-2737. You can text or WhatsApp us. It's 075-3966-1744 075-3966-1745. Twitter handle is Starr Radio UK, and email address is info@starradiouk.com. info@starradiouk.com. So make a date. Call in and make your voice heard. I've asked few questions. Would it be right for ECOWAS to invade Niger? Are they working for the West now, or because the West think that France was in that place and they say you got out, we don't want you no more, we think that you're not helping us fight the insurgency in our particular part of the world, and therefore we can have the Russia Wagner group there to back us up, and that means that they're getting their hands on the uranium. So is that why they are scared and fighting and thinking that, hey, we need to go there to go and invade them? Has Nigeria actually sorted its own issues pertaining to its own home security issues there? Have we sorted it out? What about Ghana? What about all the other West African countries? And where is the financing going to come from? Where, especially in these times, we are complaining about, not having enough money, our economy in tatters and all stuff. Well, what do you think? And will the Senate approve of the president's request to grant him the power to, go on a war? Then when it comes to our governance system as well, what kind of democracy are we practicing? Do you think this democracy is good enough for us? Some are saying, you know what, it's a young democracy, so we have to allow it to grow. Really? When the few are just making sure they squeeze the little air out of the majority of the people, so that anytime they come to you, do this, you have no choice but just to do it. Do you think that is right? Well. The lines are open. You can make your voice heard. You can post on our Facebook, YouTube, on all the platforms that we are broadcasting on this morning. And I promise you one thing for sure, I'm gonna read that. All right then? Yes, Starr Radio UK. So now moving on to some other stories making the rounds through other parts of the world as well. This around on the African continent. Well, Niger's military has shut down airspace as it warns of an imminent attack. Now, Niger's mutinous soldiers closed the country airspace and accused foreign powers of preparing an attack as the junta defied a deadline to restore ousted president. Now, Niger State Television announced the move on Sunday night, hours before West Africa Regional Bloc, ECOWAS, had demanded that the coup leaders reinstate President Mohamed Bazoum or face military force. In his televised address, coup spokesperson Colonel Major Amadou Abdramani said the National Council for the Safeguard of the country is launching a vibrant appeal to its youth, the noble sons and daughters of our country, that they be ready to defend our country. The July 26 coup, in which meeting our soldiers installed General Abdurrahmani Chiani as a head of state, adds another layer of complexity to West Africa's Sahel region that's struggling with military takeover, spreading Islamic extremism, and a shift by some states towards Russia and its proxy, the Wagner mercenary group. Now, we've had the Western countries in that particular part of the world for some time before this coup. In the Sahel region as well, we had the Americans there, we had the French there, we had some other countries there. But what was the impact when it came to stopping the insurgents of this Islamist extremism drifting in and taking over the country? They were there and we saw all that was happening. So if the Wagner group can solve that situation out, why not? At the end of the day, we are looking at security so that people will be able to go about their duties. So is it a wise move by the Nigerians? Or they could have called it a bluff that you cannot come to our country to come and do nothing. We're not closing our airspace, but we'll be there if you're there. But now that they close the airspace, are they going to be entering into some diplomatic means to resolve this issue? What do you think about all that? It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It's gone exactly 5 minutes past the top of the hour. I remain yours sincerely, the one and only Archie. Well, jail Senegal opposition leader admitted to hospital. Just how many days on? Senegalese opposition leader Ousmane Sonko has been on hunger strike since he was arrested after a 2-year standoff with the government aides, and one of his lawyers said he was admitted to a hospital emergency on Sunday in Dakar. Now, Pastef, Mr. Sonko's party, which was dissolved by the authorities on Monday, announced his admission to emergency in a statement. Now, two spokespersons and one of Mr. Sonko's lawyers, Sierra Cledo, confirmed this without commenting on his condition. Pastef said it held the authorities responsible for his death. The authorities have not commented on the matter. Mr. Sonko, 49, went on hunger strike on the 30th of July, 2 days after his arrest. Well, so what is going to happen? A declared presidential candidate in February 2024, he has been waging a fierce battle with authorities since 2021 when the courts implicated him in a sex scandal that he denounces as a plot to eliminate him politically. After several episodes of deadly popular protests and 2 successive convictions for defamation and corruption of youth, he was imprisoned on Monday on various charges, including calling for insurrections, criminal association in connection with terrorist undertaking and undermining state security. The authorities announced the dissolution of his party on the same day. Mr. Sonko's candidacy for the presidential election therefore seems unrealistic. His lawyers, for their part, maintain that he remains eligible. How? He's not got a party. He is now incarcerated. Will people go and vote for him? It would have been interesting. They're not dissolving the party. He's being in the prison, and his name still being on the ballot paper, and then they go vote for him. What would they do? Would they bring him out? Would it be like Kwame Nkrumah during the times when we had the colonial masters there, where he was in prison for his stance, and then, though being behind bars, still won an election and was brought out and became the prime minister of the land? What do you think? It's going to be quite an interesting one there. Starr Radio UK. Now, it's not only Sonko who has been arrested. However, John Branco, the lawyer of the leading Senegalese opposition political Ousmane Sonko, was arrested last weekend after several days of cat and mouse games with the authorities. This was confirmed by the Senegalese interior minister, who said the Franco-Spanish lawyer was in hands of an elite police unit. Now, several local reports say Branco was arrested as he was sneaking out of Senegal towards Mauritania. A source close to the case also reported his arrest on Mauritanian side, but the lawyer's situation remained unclear by mid-afternoon on Saturday. Branco has made a name for himself in Senegal by taking part in the defense of Ousmane Sonko, an appointed engaged since 2021 in a tug of war with the authorities and judiciary for over 2 years. The confrontation has given rise to several episodes of deadly violence. Well, they think that, well, you cannot come from wherever you are to come and now cause trouble for us, and then you want to sneak out. So they pursued him. But what do you think? It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, let's move on to some other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. Now, interestingly, 12 Ghanaians have successfully completed a 10,000 kilometer drive from Accra to London. That is quite a drive. A group of intrepid explorers from Ghana, led by Kwabena Pepra, has undertaken a remarkable cross-continental road trip spanning over 10,000 kilometers. Now, starting from Accra, the capital of Ghana, the expedition took them through numerous African countries and European destinations, culminating in a journey from one continent to another, according to reports. The travelers, known as the Wanderlust Ghana, are a diverse group of philanthropists and tourism enthusiasts. The team initially consisted of 12 members, including individuals such as Richard Enim, Kwejo Saka, Kwame Pepra, Kofi Pepra, and others. Now, one member dropped out due to work commitments in Senegal, and 2 others left the expedition in Morocco. Their route began in Accra, weaving through various Ghanaian cities, including Abri, Nsawam, Kumasi, and Sunyani, before crossing into neighboring Cote d'Ivoire, from where they ventured through Mali, Senegal, Mauritania, and Morocco, finally entering Europe through Spain via a Mediterranean ferry. Their journey showcased the diverse terrains and climates of Africa and Europe. The expedition involved an array of vehicles, including a Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon, a Toyota Land Cruiser V8, Lexus RX 350, and a Ford F-150 Raptor. The team covered an average of 800 to 900 kilometers per day, consuming around 250 liters of fuel daily. Their progress was documented through videos shared on social media, revealing the challenges faced, including brake pad changes and interactions with local authorities. A unique addition to the team was Nana Efuasewa, nicknamed Shekanik, an auto repair technician aiming to master automobile mechanics across various landscapes and climates. Now, the journey not only showcased the team's adventurous spirit, but also aimed to raise funds for rural primary schools in Ghana. The adventurers were inspired by stories of people traveling from Europe to African nations by road, and decided to reverse the journey, with the global generating media attention and support for their philanthropic cause. But my question is, which country have they also colonized on their way? We get there. So we've discovered you, we've taken over your land, and we've taken over everything there. They should have done that as well. But that's what happened when the white man left here and various places to come to our place using the boats. But this time around we are using cars, so why didn't they do so? Well, it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. As their journey neared its end, the team anticipated a warm reception in London, where they plan to engage with the Ghanaian community and Ghana High Commission to further their philanthropic endeavors. With this epic journey serving as a testament to human determination and a drive to make a positive impact, Wanderlust Ghana road trip from Accra to Ghana stands as an inspiring example of adventure, philanthropy, and cross-cultural exchange. But I remember when I was young, my dad's friends, some of them missionaries, who travel, some from Germany and Europe, driving all the way to Ghana. I remember that they'll be using their Ford van. I remember it very, very well. When they come to our place, and they'll be showing us pictures that they've taken. Gone are the days where we didn't have mobile phones, and then we have videos like that. Nah. Rarely would you have that, but they had still pictures. Yeah, still pictures, and that's what was being used to capture events during the course of their trip. But it's all Starr Radio UK, and kudos to them. We hope that this journey actually brings something for the community, and that they are trying to look out for. But hey, be warned, if you are listening to anything that, you know what, I'll take my car, I will drive from Accra, and I come to London. You need to acquire visas for all those countries that you're going to be crossing to your final destination as well. Okay? All right then. Okay, now let's move on to one other story, and then we will move on from there. The Speaker of Parliament in Ghana has said that, you know what, let us just stick with our democracy, and it needs to be protected and all that stuff. And I say, that is all well and good when we have them saying things like that. But how many people are suffering at the behest of these leaders? Okay, it is Starr Radio UK. 14 minutes past, and therefore we have to move on to other parts of the world. Well. Now, when it comes to Imran Khan, information coming through over the weekend, Imran Khan has been arrested for the second time in a matter of months. But this time, the reaction looks very different. What could happen next? There could not have been a starker contrast between 9th of May and the 5th of August this year. While Imran Khan's first arrest led to protests in the streets from Peshawar to Karachi, with buildings burning and the army on the streets, Saturday night was no different from any other normal night in Pakistan. Mr. Khan is currently in prison, sentenced to 3 years for not declaring money gained by selling state gifts. The sentence will lead to his disqualification before the upcoming election. His call for peaceful protests, urging people not to sit quietly in their homes, has for now not worked. And the question is why? Ask government ministers, and they will say that it is because people do not want to follow Imran Khan or his party, the PTI, unwilling to be associated with a group responsible for previous violence. That is not the message from Mr. Khan's supporters. Now, Imran Khan's relationship with the establishment, shorthand in Pakistan for the politically powerful military and intelligence agencies, soared more than a year ago. Mr. Khan was widely seen by analysts as having come to power with the help of the establishment, and to have subsequently lost it when that relationship deteriorated. Now, since then, instead of waiting quietly until the next election, he has continued to criticize the army's leadership. When army buildings were attacked following Mr. Khan's arrest in May, the military let it be known that they had a zero tolerance approach to those that they saw as responsible. The subsequent crackdown has left Imran Khan's party decimated. His supporters were arrested in their thousands, and some were tried in military courts, despite the outcry from human rights groups that the system should not be used for civilians. Now, some in Pakistan's media have told us that the late May, after TV station owners met the military journalists were no longer allowed to say Mr. Khan's name, show his picture, or even write his name on ticker tape. Now, anecdotally, many previously vocal supporters told us that they have stopped posting about the PTI or its leader on social media, deleting their posts and no longer watching his public broadcast, afraid of who might be watching them or watching him. The government has told the BBC that it does not arrest peaceful protesters. However, BBC Urdu journalists saw PTI supporters gathering outside Mr. Khan's house in Lahore on Saturday afternoon, taken away by police. It's not clear if they were formally arrested. Well, should he have stayed in his corner quietly? And with everything that is happening, what's the sense in it? Is it a military junta? And why is the rule of law not working in that part of the world? After all, they're practicing some sort of democracy, but democracy with the military standing behind you and breathing down your neck. It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. In some other story as well, 3 people have been killed in firefighting helicopter crash. Now, 3 people have died following a helicopter crash during a firefighting mission in the U.S. states of California. Now, the incident happened on Sunday evening after 5 crews were called to blaze near Cabazon Riverside Country. The 2 helicopters collided, with one then landing safely and the second crashing into the ground, killing everyone on board. An investigation has been launched into the cause of the crash by the National Transportation Safety Board. The victims were identified as Fire Captain and Division Chief from the State's Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, CAL FIRE, as well as a contracted pilot. They have not been named. Now, David Fulcher, Southern Region Chief CAL FIRE, described the incident as a tragic loss. We have lost 3 great individuals, 3 fathers, 3 husbands, 3 friends, 3 sons. He said daughters have lost their fathers, sons have lost their fathers. Mr. Fulcher told a press conference the fire initially broke out in the building but later grew into a vegetation fire covering 4 acres that was eventually put out. The helicopter that crashed was being used for observation, while the one that landed safely was helping to put the fire out. But both had been contracted to CAL FIRE. A sad one, and we say may their souls rest in perfect peace. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Wow. Okay, let me just move on straight on to one other story. This one run in Pakistan again. At least 30 people have been killed and 100 injured when a train derailed in southern Pakistan, a police spokesperson has confirmed. Several carriages of the Hazarawa Express overturned near Sahara Railway Station in Nawabshah, about 275 kilometers from the largest city, Karachi. Now, wounded passengers were moved to nearby hospitals. Rescue teams are trying to free people from the twisted wreckage. Accident on Pakistan antiquated railway system are not unknown. Now, videos posted on social media showed dozens of people at the site of the accident, with some passengers climbing out of the overturned carriages. One passenger who survived, Udo, he had seen many women and children lying on the ground. They were shouting and screaming. I didn't know what to do. I filled my hands with water from this canal nearby and poured it out on the faces of those who were unconscious, hoping they will regain consciousness, Nasser Ahmed said. Nasser said he survived the accident because he fell out of the window when the train derailed. Aslam, who was on the train with his son, said, "We were sleeping when suddenly the carriage came down. It felt like an apocalypse." Well, to those who have died, may their souls rest in perfect peace. Those who are wounded, with their speedy recovery. Families that have lost loved ones, our thoughts are with your condolences there as well. It is all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, find a couple of stories. Those of you who joined us earlier on, as I promised you to bring you all the news that you needed to know. Well. England has scraped through the quarterfinals of the Women's World Cup with a dramatic penalty shootout victory over Nigeria despite Lauren James' red card. Now, that's why the first penalty taker, Georgia Stanway, firing wide, Nigeria missed their next 2 efforts, and the European champions secure their spot in the last 8 when Chloe Kelly smashed in the winning kick. In an outburst of frustration, James stamped on Michelle Aloze's back on the 87th minute after losing possession and was rightly shown a red card following a video assistant referee, the VAR review. Now, England were given an almighty scare but faced Colombia or Jamaica next at 11:30 BST on Saturday. Well, to the Nigerians, best of luck. I mean, they played very, very well. They did play very, very well. But luck was not on their side this time round, and therefore we had England winning. But it's all coming away from Star Radio UK. Now, one final story, and then we take a break, and I'll be bringing you the Career 101 with HRH Linda Pallien. Okay, just bear with me. Some of the stories that are coming up are not. Okay, Amanda stays awake for 60 hours as Sans Care breaks down. The story says families of people with complex medical need are warning the NHS system that funds their care at home is struggling to provide sufficient support. Now, despite recent significant increase in spending on continuing healthcare, experts say staff shortages and rising prices mean families are lacking help. Now, some say at times they are so exhausted from providing care they worry about the safety of their relatives. Now, the government say it has invested billions into health and social care. Now, we follow 24-year-old Declan Spencer for 10 months, witnessing how the repeated breakdown of his care has left his mother having to provide it by herself day and night. The question that most people ask, why are they not allowing them to go to care homes? Do they think that they are not going to be catered for the way they're supposed to? And they think that they are the best persons to cater for them. I've seen people who are old, very old, and they are still catering for some younger kids. And I said it will be better for them to go into a home, or is it shared life or something where others are doing that work for them. Because if the way they are keeping them and they being old, they get to a point where they will not be able to give those services, they will need help. Talk less the one who also needs help already. But what do you think? Is she being given respite? And it's government putting enough funds in that system for that? Interesting. Well. Star Radio UK listeners, this is where I bring the first part of the program to a close. We're going to take some musical break, and once we come back, I'll be taking you to HRH Linda Pallien all the way in Cyprus for Career 101. So stay tuned and don't you go away. Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
Give gorilla bananas to give to monkey. Hey, hey, hey. Give gorilla bananas to give to monkey. Yourself, you know, go see banana, banana, you know, banana. Monkey no go see banana, banana, you know, banana.
It is now time for us to go to Cyprus, where our own HRH Linda Pallien is this afternoon, and she is going to be bringing you Career 101. So it is my singular honor to introduce to you HRH Linda Pallien, all the way in Cyprus. And today she says we are looking at what? Yes. So what are we going to be looking at today?
Today we're looking at transferable skills.
Okay, transferable skills. Now, interestingly, we're talking about where in the on the African continent, some people who have been come out of universities have not got jobs to go to, and maybe they were trained in particular area, particular fields, and they cannot get a job. But maybe if they have some transferable skills, or they can be retrained or something like that, it could help them a great deal. So if you are listening to us this afternoon, we want you to open your ears, or clean your ears, and get your notepads or whatever you take your notes on. But don't worry. If you happen that you miss out on anything, there'll be a podcast for you, and you can go to our YouTube or Facebook or all the social media platforms that we are broadcasting on and re-listen to it. It will help you a great deal. Transferable skills. Over to you, Linda.
Fantastic. I'm glad you mentioned about education as well, because normally when we talk about transferable skills, people think it's for others that are changing their jobs, or it's normally spoken about it in the job change sense. But transferable skills applies to you in education, whether you're going for promotion as well, that you can still use your transferable skills there. And of course, if you're changing your jobs. So we'll get straight to it. We'll define what transferable skills are. We'll talk about some of the skills that are considered really noteworthy transferable skills. And then I will share with you a skills checklist as well that you can check to see if you have any of these. And I promise you, at any level, whether you're just starting out, whether you've never had a job before, you have some transferable skills. And the thing about transferable skills is it relies on your ability to communicate this, to recognize that you have it and be able to express to a potential recruiter or a potential boss that you possess them. So we'll go straight to it. Transferable skills, to define it, is an ability or an expertise that could be used in a variety of roles. Any ability or expertise that can be used in a variety of roles. You develop it as you progress through your employment, through your education, or through your training as well. And they can be used, again, as we said, in education. So even if you're moving on from high school to senior school to grad school to PhD, some of these transferable skills, you'll use it in your application to go into these roles. So it's really important. And also, in your personal lives, in your vocational training, but in your personal life, you can use transferable skills. For example, if you're a really diplomatic person, you can use that in a fight against your spouse, or you It's called transferable skills for a reason. It transfers into diverse situations. Ability to calm a situation down, or on the opposite end of the spectrum, to escalate a situation. That's skill. Okay. So now that we're clear on what transferable skills are in the career context, I'm going to share with you when you would need these. We've kind of spoken about this. There's a really good quote from Will Smith about talent and skill, which I will read verbatim from the book. What he says: the separation of talent and skill is one of the greatest misunderstood concepts for people who are trying to excel, for people who have dreams or who want to do things. So talent is an ability you have naturally, and skill is only developed through hours and hours of working on your craft. That's a direct quote from Will Smith. Talent you have naturally, skill is developed through hours and hours of working on your craft. So when we're talking about transferable skills, it also includes your talent. And a lot of people say, well, I'm good at drawing. How does that relate to, for example, a job that I may have? Well, actually, if you're good at drawing, you're good at conceptualizing ideas and recreating them in tangible, visible, physical forms. And you can use that whether you're doing software programming, where again, you're taking someone's idea, I want a beautiful website that does blah, 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 and you conceptualize that wish and desire of the customer into what they perceive as a website. Those are transferable skills directly from your drawing that you can use in, let's say, the software programming field. So it's not just that you have one skill and you're stuck with that. It's being able to explore it and showcase, because you wouldn't necessarily have all of the experience that is sought after in a particular job or in a particular position. But if you can show that you've done this before in a different context and you can apply it into this context, then it works as good evidence of showcasing your skills. You may have heard a lot of people say, well, I grew up with 8 people in the household, I know how to manage people. That is a good example of transferable skills. And it doesn't take away because it was in the household setting. I mean, you at the end of the day, you're still talking to people and they can relate to managing people, to managing your siblings, to managing your kids, to managing a household, to the household budget, to be able to manage the finances of the company. It does translate and it's equally valid. So I really want to reassure you, if you're listening to this and thinking, well, I don't have any transferable skills, dig a little deeper. I want to challenge you to dig a little deeper.
Okay. Now, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK Career 101 with HRH Linda Pallien. As we've said this morning, you are supposed to listen to us. Whether you are a student, whether you are a graduate, whether you are a worker, whatever you are. Okay, it's very important because we are looking at transferable skills, especially when we are in a time where today you have a job, tomorrow they say that is no more, and you need to find something else. What do you have to say that with this I can also now tend to be this? But Linda, you did talk about I don't know whether from the definition that Will Smith gave, but it looks like someone is asking the question. So until somebody polishes their talent, you cannot call it a skill. Is that it?
Not necessarily. You can have a natural skill, but if you can have a natural talent, but if you don't work on it to polish it, whoever works on it and doesn't even have that natural talent will for sure overtake you. Okay. That regards. Okay. So there's, you can sit on gold and do nothing with it. Take it and turn it into a beautiful jewelry and up the value. Think about how you may have a natural talent to sing, but you probably still need singing lessons and practice to be able to use it in the best possible format. And this is with your your natural talents.
Thank you very much. I think that's a good one there. So if you are listening to us, you are talented. Yes, you need to work on it, and it can be a very good skill for you. All right then, over to you, Linda.
Fantastic. I'm going to share with you 15 of the top and most sought after transferable skills for employers, and then I'm going to share with you some of the key skills, and we're going to break it down so that into a checklist that you can just tick off. So the first one, in no particular order, is management. We've alluded to that. If you've managed people, you've managed a treasury, you've been in charge of anything. Management can really be a really good transferable skill that you can use to demonstrate your leadership qualities. So definitely look for areas in your life where you've managed something, whether it's a church choir, whether you've managed a Sunday school group, whether you've managed a club, or even organized an activity. You can use those activities as evidence of management for your transferable skills. The second one is problem solving, and this is such a key skill for any employer, your ability to solve problems. Nobody wants someone who's going to come to them with every little problem and ask what to do. Every manager is looking for, every employer is looking for someone who can think on their feet, who can be creative, who can come up with solutions, even if they don't act on it, so suggest solutions at least to be considered, rather than being a chicken little, the sky is falling all the time. It's not helpful. And especially if you're in employment right now, if you're looking for ways to boost your profile as an employee and to get a raise or to get a promotion, again, problem solving will be definitely a key skill to have. The third one is analytical reasoning. And this is the ability to be able to look objectively at information and deduce useful data out of it. So being able to analyze a given data is really important to employers. Analytical reasoning. So if you don't know what that is, it's part of problem solving. But it's really identifying the solution and finding logical solutions to a company's problems. That definitely is very sought after. And then following on from that, we have critical thinking. To again using a problem solving and analytical reasoning, but also to be able to decipher what a fact is and what the truth is. There's a difference between fact and truth. And looking at the evidence and evaluating that and deciding which information is more opinion and which one is based on fact to back up a decision that you'll take. That is critical thinking. And you know, this is a subject that is taught in some secondary schools in England. Or you can do a lot of courses. I don't even want to restrict this to England, because you can do a lot of online courses for free on critical thinking to sharpen these skills. And for me, that is a very valuable skill to have in any employee, regardless of whatever position you're doing. Even if you're doing something that doesn't involve maths or what is traditionally white-collar jobs, understanding how to critically think makes you a standout employee and definitely a good candidate. Or even exhibiting these on your CV or in your applications will help you. So it's not just enough to be it, but to be able to communicate it and demonstrate that you have these skills.
Okay.
The next skill is leadership. This is the fifth skill we're on about, leadership. Leadership abilities, being able to take the lead on a project, get a team to get behind your ideas and follow you and accomplish a shared goal. again, leadership skills. You can't go wrong with having leadership skills, regardless of where you're starting from. Leadership skills, to be able to supervise and manage a team, again, priceless. Number 6, adaptability. Can you adapt to a given scenario? Because life isn't a constant, things change all the time. Something might happen at work, you might not be, your boss might not always be present to tell you what to do. Can you adapt and make the most out of a situation? I always use this example because I think it's my favorite. The late Kofi Annan, how he became UN Secretary General when there was a to have, and his boss was flying in the air, and he had to step in and make a decision, which then demonstrated that he was good enough to become UN Secretary General. So again, if you're able to be adaptable and pivot and adapt to change as it's happening, and maintain a positive attitude whilst you're doing it, and get your work done. Wow, who doesn't want that person to work for them? Who doesn't want that person to be in their corner working on? Our 7th skill is teamwork. Teamwork, no man is an island. Whether you're doing a project, let's use this example of drawing. You may think, oh, well, in my profession I work alone. You gave me the brief. But again, you're working for someone, with someone. You need that teamwork skill, that you don't rub people up the wrong way. You're able to listen to others and be able to build a relationship with people to achieve a common goal. Right? And again, that would really help. And even if it's, as we said in your drawing, if you're working within National Association of Artists, for example, there you go, that's a team. There's people that work individually but part of a consortium. So definitely you need teamwork skills to accomplish any goal. And then communication. Communication is our 8th skill. Communication, again, another priceless skill. To be able to interpret a piece of information in a way that, or relate a piece of information in a way that people understand it, they don't take offense. It's clear, everyone knows what they're doing. It's clear and concise and unambiguous. It's a very useful skill, whether it's in writing, emails, text messages, writing press releases, whatever it is, written communication you're doing, whether it's oral communication, whether you're giving a speech, or maybe doing a briefing, taking notes or minutes at meetings. To be able to communicate effectively will really help you. Last week we did those skills that will stand you in good stead, and again, communication was one of them, right, that you need. So definitely communication. Number 9 is writing skills. This seems a bit repetitive, but again, written communication that conveys a message clearly will really help you. And in the absence of visual cues, to be able to write in a way that people can see what is being communicated to them is a skill, but again, a very transferable skill that you can use in one job to another. So you might not be a copywriter anymore, but you might be able to use the fact that you're able to write to be able to do radio or present it. It's a different form of communication, but still communication. And then number 10, active listening skills. Active listening skills. The opposite end of the spectrum of communicating is listening. Human beings love to feel heard, and that someone is listening to them. That's the only way you can communicate effectively, if you actually understand what someone's trying to relate to you, whether it's your client, whether it's your supplier, whether it's your team, whether it's your kids. Active listening skills, to be able to demonstrate that in a job interview and say, And actually, in job interviews, we test for this. We test for active listening. And we've done this in this forum before where, for example, in an interview question, I would say, tell me a time of when you've used good communication to be able to convince an angry customer, and what the feedback was. So this question, if you're listening to it, has two parts. The first part is when you've used good communication skills. The second part is the reaction and the feedback from the customer.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the interview stage, because you're nervous and you're trying to give a good impression, as soon as the question's asked, you are thinking about, a time when I've used good communication skills. You're formulating your star or your answer in your head that you didn't listen
to the customer. I didn't listen to the end of the question itself as well.
To the second, and it's a trick that interviewers use to see if you possess active listening skills. So I always say in interview prep, if we've done interview prep together, let them finish, listen to the whole question first, and then take a moment to frame your answer before you start talking. There's no crime against pausing for a few seconds before you answer the question. You don't have to answer the question right away. You can few seconds, gather your thoughts before you answer the question. But the important and the key skill is answering the question properly because you've been actively listening.
Yeah. But on the active listening, now, and you saying that you can pause before you answer the question. Some people are of the view that by so doing, it shows that you were not prepared for that particular question that is being posed. Either you've not experienced anything, now you are just trying now to think about something. So at times when I sit in a panel like that, then I think he's now going to just cook something for us. So he's not actually experienced that. So if somebody finds himself in such a situation, what should they do there? I know we are digressing a bit though.
No, that's a great point. I've never come across that point of view at all. But I think it's also fine to explain or to elaborate. Give me a second to put my answer at once. And I think depending on the quality of your answer, you can dispel that prejudice that you're not.
Okay.
I think if you pause, also depend on the length of the pause. There's a comfortable pause and there's a
long pause.
So, hopefully you would have prepared some of these competency questions already. You don't need to pause that long. But definitely, I think, depending on the quality of the answers, most people see it as you gathering your thoughts.
Yeah.
And you, again, if you have the inkling that they're thinking that, clarify. When people communicate, there's nothing like communicating super clearly. I just need a minute to gather my answer so I can give you a better answer. It explains to them what you're doing. It fills the gap. It gives you more time to think. And it doesn't go against you. If you rush the question and you don't answer it fully,
that goes against you. Yeah.
So in doubt, pause and think about it, and then come up with a really good answer that hopefully blows them away.
Okay.
That's a great input, Archie. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Okay. So where are we? The 11th skill. We talked about active listening. Creativity. Again, one of my favorite skills, creativity. And as I said, one thing I've learned recently, which I'm applying in my own life, is the importance of creativity and dedicating time to creativity. You know, there's a saying that says there's no lack of money, just a lack of creativity.
Yeah.
And creativity is not just an ability to sing, draw, what we traditionally refer to as a creative art. More than that, it's creatively financing your business, creatively selling to someone without seeming salesy or pushy, creatively conveying your idea across without conveying a perhaps sensitive idea across without offending. You know, creativity is in so many ways, and every single person on earth who is a creation in themselves possesses creative skill. And we just need time to hone those skills. I was listening to, I can't remember what this motivational speaker name was, but he was saying we don't dedicate enough time to hone in our creativity. Creativity takes time. I've been watching a lot of bridal things because it's been wedding season, and just looking at the time it takes to create one wedding dress, or to create one stunning jewelry piece, or to create an artwork. And if we look at people in the traditional creative arts, they don't just get up and they're able to play a role in a movie. They practice for months, sometimes they diet for it, and we need to leaf out of their booklets. They allow themselves to be vulnerable, work on their craft to hone it, to be able to do that. And in the business world, we don't do that, or in non-traditional creative roles, we forget that you don't just learn and train to be an accountant and then you're suddenly an accountant. You in your craft. You need to be able to work on how to communicate or talk on your broadcast to keep people engaged. You still need to work as a public speaker on maybe how you carry yourself, or your stage presence, or how people perceive your message. And we need to dedicate the time to being creative about how we do what it is we do. Are you an out-of-the-box thinker? Do you employ novel techniques to help clients understand how to use your product, to find novel solutions to problems that they face? This is where the money is, in the creativity of being creative about how to do banal things, usual things, but a creative way of it. Today I was looking at an interview from Shudu, the digital model creator, and he was saying he's a young person in his 30s, and he says, I've been a fashion photographer for ages, and I play video games in my spare time, and I thought, I'm burnt out in this industry, I want to do something different, I'm questioning what I'm doing with my life. And it's like, well, in 3 months he was able to learn how to program and to code, and to be able to draw on the skills that he's gained in the fashion sense, and from gaming, and put it together with the tangible skill he's just learned in how to program, to be able to new thing and revolutionize the industry. That one would say is saturated, or there's too much in it, and nobody anymore. There's nothing new invented. If you give enough time to be creative, you can invent this. And this guy's story is particularly touching because, look at the time. I'll just finish this thought. His story is particularly touching because he stopped working in London, moved in with his parents again for a year to reset. Basically, and from his parents' shed, he created this. Must feel like this at different times, and we feel like it's just us and all hope is lost. So most creativity and most genius comes from this particular scenario. You're feeling that, and you're looking at what transferable skills you can use. Creativity is definitely one that you can use. I'll just mention the rest of them. So attention to detail is one of them. Project management is another transferable skill that you can use. relationship building, being able to understand people, priceless. Computer skills is also one of that you can always use any particular job or in any transferable skills that you may need to.
Wow, listeners, this has been a load full of skills that you need to you know. You might have them all there. Everything that she's talked about, you might have them there. But because you've not taken the time to, check it out or use it, so you think, whoa, it's not there. What is she talking about? She is living on another planet. No. These are transferable skills that we are talking about. You have them in it, but you have to take time to actually even discover that you still have them. But if you want to know more about what we've talked about and how, when it comes to your career, your hands can be held, taken through the various places by Linda, then please you can go back to our broadcast. You go to Starr Radio UK every Monday edition of the morning show. You will have the latter part, Linda there bringing you Career 101. We've touched on various topics and it's very, very important to each and every one of us if you really want to go on in life. Okay, so Linda has written a few books that every time we come on I do talk about them. Now they are also there to help you out when it comes to your career as well. So I'm going to go back to her. She's going to talk about those books and then she can put her contact details across to you. If you are interested, get in touch with her. She runs some programs that you could just register. At times you call it, it's expensive, but it's something that you are using to better yourself up. So it's very, very important. I want you to listen to her and then get in touch with her. Over to you, Linda.
Thank you. So as you said, sometimes we tend to think, getting help is expensive. But the real question is, can you afford not to? To be in the same position that you've been in for the last few years, for the next few years, when you can invest a little and move yourself into a much better place and tenfold your income sometimes. So definitely that's something to think about. If you're interested in the books, they're called the career books. Funny that this is Career 101, they're the career books. By Linda Pallien, and they're available on Amazon and also via my website if you're based in Cyprus. But Amazon across the world, you can find them. They've been priceless resources for a lot of people around the world. There's loads of testimonials that you'll see, and definitely get your hands on them. We spoke about transferable skills. In the career workbook, which is the book 3, there's a part to bring out these transferable skills in you and to be able to explore that. In the career success book, we talk about, this is book 2, we talk about what transferable skills you might need for what employment and how you can use other experiences, unconventional experiences, to be able to get the job of your dreams without necessarily having the experience for it. So it's all there. And then of course the how to career, if you're thinking of resetting or doing a second business, definitely these 6 steps are there to guide you. You can find them all on lindapallien.com. lindapallien.com. You can find out about the books, how to work with me one-to-one. You can look at what training programs we have. They start from £20. They are super affordable, and they're online, and you can do them from the comfort of your own home, and you can implement it today to start earning the money you deserve, the career you deserve, the life you deserve, because you owe it to yourself. So definitely, or contact me on social media, on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, at Linda Pallien or at my cheerleader. To say I'm a cheerleader of people's successes and dreams, and I can be your cheerleader too.
Yes, and that's it. She said it. She is my cheerleader. She can be your cheerleader. So why not make sure you get in touch with her. Linda, let me say thank you very much for this wonderful time once again.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. All right then. Let me say thank you very much to each and every one of you tuning in today to join us on the morning show. It's been a pleasure coming your way, as I say all the time. Without you, there'll be no need for me to come and sit here with all my team and do our best to bring you everything that you need to know. After all, what? You could have been doing something else. But hey, it's been a pleasure coming your way. I've been your faithful servant, Archie, and I promise you tomorrow, God willing, If everything is working well and we are live, we'll be coming your way with another edition of the morning show with Mr. Olayomi Koiki and my able producer, Mr. Francis Gaye. But on that note, let me say, have a top of the day and may Nigeria not happen to you. Enjoy the song from the Zongo Man once again. Where is the dollar? Yeah. The dollar is in my pocket. Enjoy it. Bye-bye.
$10 and one man who gets. Hey, hey, hey. 10 men, $10.
This is Starr Radio UK.
It's a disgrace. Where is the dollar?
Thanks for listening.
Where is the dollar? Where is the dollar? Where is the dollar?